Losing them players obviously affects your formation that we played last season. We had the one up front with the man just off of him, I suppose. Does that affect you this season? Obviously, losing them sort of players. Do you have to rethink your formation? Do we go one up front? Do we go two up front?
At no stage this season have we played two up front. We've always played 4-5-1, either a sitting midfielder or an attacking midfielder. Now the fact that it's been, I see things on that forum, and I think, was it last Tuesday somebody said 4-4-2. We didn't play 4-4-2 last Tuesday. We played 4-4-1-1 with the midfield, with the fact that it was Scott Fitzgerald and not Will Hendry.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, apparently we're 4-4-2.
Right, he's playing more of an attacking midfielder than an out-and-out striker.
He comes back and he helps out in midfield. We, pretty much all these teams, vast majority of the conference teams have various attributes. Two big centre halves that want to mark players, that want to get tight and want to have the fight. At least two very physical midfielders who will get up and down and go box to box. Generally pace wide, generally one big centre forward and certainly pace up front. We looked at that and felt we're going to get overrun in midfield with what we've got.
Right.
So at times we've looked to play three in midfield. I haven't looked to play one or two up front. It's concentrating on the midfield areas.
Yep.
Now, by and large, and I know I have the benefit of the video, I think it's generally worked. What's happened is we've made individual errors. You know, I don't like picking players out, but I think if you look back at any game, and I've done it and sat and gone through it in slow motion, we've got people making mistakes.
Right.
And if the goalkeeper drops across, is that because we're only playing one up front? It really is not relevant. To survive in this league and to flourish in this league, you've got to keep clean sheets.
Yeah. And
you don't keep clean sheets by sticking 4 men up front.
Okay. You had high expectations at the start of the season. What are your expectations at the moment after the start?
I think high expectations, I think, is a leading question. I was asked what the target was, and the target was top 10.
Yeah.
I still think that's achievable. I think after 3 games last season, we were bottom of the table.
Right.
We all know where that ended. I think we need a change of the bounce of the ball. 2 send-ins off and missing a penalty. Look at the performance against Kettering. Eastbourne, we're going to concede a goal a minute before and a minute after half time.
Right.
I think you can go through all the games and go, we're just not getting that little bit of look. I put together a DVD, or rather the video guys put together a DVD for the players to watch before the game today, and I think we've had, I think there's 8 absolutely incredible saves from goalkeepers.
Yeah.
You would see once a season, and we've had 8. Scott Fitz was looking at it and going, I can't believe I'm not in double figures. And these things happen, but what also happens is it evens itself up.
Yes.
So we're going to get bounce of the ball, we're going to get the bounce, the bias of a referee's decision or the bias of a linesman's decision, and we'll take advantage of them.
Right, you mentioned the sending offs there. Is the officiating in this league different to what we've experienced in the Conference South? Are the players, the opposition, playing the referee better, or...?
I think we've taken our time in getting to the pace of games, and I think a lot of our bookings wouldn't have been bookings last year because they would have won us the ball, the tackle. So people are getting to the ball maybe that centimetre too late, catching players, and then they're getting booked. I think the referees are inconsistent. I don't think I can go through any number of decisions where they've been given one way and not the other.
Yeah.
Can do it again today. So it's that inconsistency is infuriating. And I've asked the question afterwards. We had 3 players booked for kicking the ball away, and the next 3 games the other team did it every single time, and I went in afterwards and asked that, and they said, well, it's got to be this, it's got, right. It's kind of like, no, you've booked our players been booked for kicking the ball away, somebody kicks the ball away, it should be a booking.
Right.
And but again, I think that'll even itself up. I don't think that's been a major factor in where we are in the table.
Okay. Any more new signings to come in? Are you always looking, obviously?
Yes, there are. There's 2 that are bubbling under at the moment, but we've got to juggle things around a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously that would mean losing some players, obviously, for the financial to balance it up.
I'm over budget at the moment.
Right.
I think I'm over budget at the moment. Or hopefully one will go out this week on loan, and then it might take a little bit longer for others to happen. But I've got players lined up.
Okay. We have a few players already out on loan. Stafford Palmer, Can you give us an update on them players?
Stafford Palmer can't get into Maidenhead team. So that's it basically. It's,
Right, okay.
When I send a player out on loan, I always say to the manager, he's now your player, you deal with him how you see fit.
Right, okay.
Staff's not in their team. I did see something on that forum saying that Stafford should be called back. I didn't know that we were in the process or business of signing reserve team players from the Conference South.
Right.
I've had several conversations with Staff, and he needs to get in their team and get scoring goals.
Okay.
Jake has struggled to get in the side at Harrow Borough, but Charlie Wasmer has flourished.
Right.
So he's done really well. So they'll all come back at the end of the 3 months, and then we'll, to be honest, in the couple of weeks previous to that, we'll decide what the best way forward is then.
Okay.
And they went out, all three of them went out, not to get rid of them, they went out to give them games and to get them up a level.
Yeah.
I think Charlie's done that, Jake and Stafford haven't.
Right, okay. You mentioned Justin breaking his metatarsal earlier. Any other injury updates?
Matt Ruby is not that far away. He's got a dead calf. Toby Little did a fitness test today and it was very tight, but we felt it wasn't worth risking it.
Okay.
What we have done is we've been cautious with everybody and tried to manage their injuries. We looked at the first 2 months of the season and said anybody that's struggling, we leave them out, and that's what we've done. We did it with Jim, did it with Justin, did it with Sammy. There was somebody else, and they felt they could play, and the physio said no. We've got a policy and this is how we do it. So we've got to the stage now, 14 games in, it's only now that we're starting to pick up injuries.
Right.
And that's got us, we could be in a far worse position
Okay.
if it hadn't been for that.
Right. Finally, Gary, are you enjoying life in the Conference Premier?
Yeah, it's more frustrating because I feel like I'm competing with one hand tied behind my back at times. So it's more frustrating, but as I keep saying to the players, you've got to be careful what you wish for, because sometimes what you want is not all it seems to be. Certainly enjoy trying to work out strategies to cope with full-time teams. Chester again full-time today, and I thought by and large we were the better team, which doesn't happen all that much.
What about the travelling aspect of it? Is it any different now that you're travelling? Obviously, the Gateshead game comes to mind.
You go a different road. No,
it's a long old journey.
Well, I'm from Yorkshire, so I'm up and down the road
Right.
constantly. When I played, I lived in Dublin and played in Belfast, so you just get on a coach and go.
Okay.
The Gateshead was a 7-hour trip up, 7-hour trip back, and obviously it was a difficult time.
Can you enlighten us any more on what's happening there, or?
They've been charged. I was in the referee's room when their manager made some statements that he's now saying he didn't make,
Right.
and he did it in front of the referee, 2 linesmen, the 4th official, the assessor, me, Bill Gritt and his secretary. And he said, well,
What he said?
yeah,
Okay.
he said that, and now he's saying he didn't say that,
Right.
which I am astonished at. They've then said that the chairman came to some agreement, and I know for a fact they didn't. And so I think, I don't know, the rules state we should get the 3 points.
Yeah.
They're appealing it. I don't know why or how they're
What
appealing
grounds
it.
they're appealing on?
We were out on the pitch, and
Yeah.
the referee, I went into the referee, I was standing in the tunnel, and their secretary came out, radioed upstairs, and they announced that they were calling the game off. And I went into the referee and I went bananas because I said, whatever you've decided, surely you've got to tell us first.
Yeah.
And the referee said, look, we told them the game's on, they refused to come out of the dressing room.
Okay.
I've seen a copy of the referee's report, we've got a copy of the referee's report.
Yeah.
So, and it clearly states, we started thinking we'd start the game and they refused to come out of the dressing room. So
So we're just waiting for the end of their appeal.
yeah, I think the way the league handle it, they've got to charge them, and then they've got to be given right
to appeal
and to kind of argue their case. But to be honest, I don't see what case they've got to argue.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see what the fallout will be.
So you're looking forward to the rest of the season, and
Yeah, it's going to be
some big games, obviously.
Yeah, I was at Luton a few weeks ago. 6,000 people there.
Yeah.
Obviously Wimbledon. It'll be good over Christmas. Going to Oxford away is always, we were there last year, and that's a good place to go. So yeah, it's if you're in the Conference South and you don't want to be at this level, then you shouldn't be in the Conference South. So yeah, I mean, but we're at this level, and now I want to be at the level above.
Excellent. Well, good luck for the rest of the season, and thank you for the interview.
No problem. Thanks very much.